Hello there and welcome back. We are ready to look at assignment number 10 and I'm on page 46 of our text, and hopefully you have already completed this assignment and are just checking your answers. So I will work these. Remember, we're supposed to find the interest and the payback. So on the first one, my principal was $6,800. My rate was 16%, and the time was 10 years. So interest equals principal times rate times time. This is basically just setting up the same formula, but it's good practice. So I'm following it through. This will help you really nail it down and know how to do it if you see it on a test somewhere. So interest is not that. Sorry. 6,800 times 0.16 times 10. Actually, it is that. That's a very large amount. So $10,880 is the interest. And then to get the payback, you would add the interest that you just found to the principal that somebody borrowed. And you can see, guys, they paid more in interest than they did in the amount borrowed. So this is how credit cards can get you in all kinds of trouble. 16% is pretty high interest. It's very high interest. But this can illustrate to you how dangerous these things can be. So there's the interest, and there's the payback. Okay, number 2, I've got to take a peek over here. 36,000, 5%, 15 years. So your principal is the big sum, $36,000, 5% for 15 years. So this may be a loan for a house or a car. 15 years is a little bit long for a car. So I'm guessing maybe if you bought a house that you want to, especially if you want to flip the house and sell it again for a percent of change. But let's find just the interest. 36,000, 5%, 15 years. So 36,000, 5%, 15 years is $27,000 in interest. So that becomes this amount. And then to get your payoff or payback, you take your interest that you just found plus the amount that you borrowed, and that will give you $63,000 as your payback amount. And then you could split that over ever how many years. In this case, it's 15. You could do 63,000 divided by 15, and that would give you your yearly amount to pay back. You could break that on down into months if you wanted. So you can do lots of things with this once you find these two pieces. And this is problem 2. I should be putting those on there. Here's problem 3. Your principal is $760. Your rate, be careful. Let me just double check that because I'm not 4.5 for 10 months. So let me come down here and show you how to get the rate because it's a little bit different. You want to move it 2 places. So you have 0.045. And 10 months is 10/12 because there are 12 months in 1 year. So I equals PRT. I equals 760 times 0.045 times 10/12. Just type that into your calculator. 760 times 0.045 times 10 ABC 12 equals 28.5. So make that 50 cents. And then your payback amount will be that number plus what you borrowed. And that is $788.50. So that's payback. Notice they work exactly the same. All right, problem number 4. I love these problems because they follow a formula and they work the same way every time. Okay, let me glance back here. This one looks kind of rough. 165 at 3% for 62 days. This is a very unusual borrowing scheme, but $165. 3%, that's a pretty low rate, but we're only borrowing it for 62 days. So 62 out of how many days in a year? Well, there are 365 days in a year. Let me check my 62, yes. Okay, so the formula, interest equals principal, rate, and time. Interest equals 165, 0.03, and just put that ugly old fraction right on in there. That's the beauty of this calculator. It will do that for you with no problem. So 165 times 0.03 times 62 ABC 365 equals, now it's ugly and it's strange looking. That's okay. Let me just go ahead and write it all because I want you to see how ugly it is. All we need are the cents. So I'm going to say, okay, this is 0, so all of this is gone. This is about 84 cents. And you think, well, 84 cents interest? But we only borrowed 165 and we only did it for 62 days. You can see what happens when the time comes down, the interest comes down. So the faster you can pay back loans, the less interest you're going to pay. Okay, so there's the interest, and we need to add it to the principal. So we've got $165 that we borrowed, and then that 84 cents finance charge is going to get added on there. So you have $165.84 to pay back. That's not a bad deal. If someone loans you that much money for 84 cents finance, not bad. But this rate is very low. Most banks are not going to do that unless it's a long-term, like a mortgage. Okay, I'm getting sidetracked. I could talk about this all day. So here's number 5. Let's look at that one. And this was supposed to be a dollar sign. I knew there was a mistake somewhere. That's why I keep flipping back. So it's $986 at 12.9% for 18 weeks. So principal is $986. It's a pretty good chunk of money. The rate, 12.9, so let me show you how to convert that. And you got to go 2 places. So 129 and the time was 18 weeks. So 18 out of 52 weeks in a year. Not 18 years. My goodness, that would be a lot of money. So we're going to say we're borrowing the $986 at a very low, not a low, I'm sorry, that's not low. 12.9 is pretty high. 18 over 52, that's 18 weeks. So I would expect this to not be 84 cents. This is going to be, it's a big principal. It's a pretty big interest rate. And even though the weeks are short, it still is going to come out to be quite a bit. So 44.02869231. We're going to go to the penny. So we're going to call this $44.03. And then this goes away. So that is our interest. And then to get the payback, you need to add those two. Principal and interest get added to get the payback. 986 plus 4403. Pretty steep payback. And that is your payoff. This is your interest. So when you do these problems, you have to be very careful to figure out what they're asking you. Are they asking you just to find interest, or are they asking you to find a payback amount? And I hope these examples have helped you. We will be looking at word problems in our next clip, and I believe there are quite a few of them. There are. And that will finish this chapter, or this in the module and the book. So I'll see you back for one more set of problems, and we will be finished with this course. So I'll see you soon.